On this episode of the Lobby of Hobbies podcast, it's that most wonderful time of the year, and Jazz and Judge have joined together to give you their top selections for board games and video games this holiday season, whether it be for yourself or that special loved one. So enter while they share with you their selections, and maybe you'll discover that special gift to stick in the stocking or under the tree this holiday season. I'm your host for today, Jazz. Of course, I am joined by my sidekick, my compadre, numero uno, my brother Judge. Judge, how's it going today?
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? So far, so good.
Awesome. So today's episode, we're going to bring to you almost, I guess, like a holiday special. So we're getting ready for the turkey. We're getting ready for, to grub on some Thanksgiving. So for those of you who have been working out during COVID, this is your time to pack the pounds back on Thanksgiving Day, get all that turkey in you, the stuffing, mac and cheese, whatever it is. I love my wife's sweet potato casserole, so it's going down. So I wasn't working on losing any weight before COVID. I'm definitely not working on losing any weight on Thanksgiving. So
you and me both.
But our episode today, for the people out there that are listening, we wanted to give you guys an insight to some games that we would recommend that you check out this holiday season, whether it be something you pick up for yourself as a gift, pick up for someone in your house as a gift, or a family member, whether it be a Pollyanna, a Secret Santa, a White Elephant, however you do it, whatever you guys have your celebrations for, or even something you just pick up to take over to a family member's house or a family that you have over your own house. I know some people are being very tight knit with who they're having over for the holidays, especially with COVID. The numbers are jumping up everywhere throughout the country. But while we do recommend being safe, if you do have family members over, sometimes you want to have something to play or something to get to, or even something that the kids can do, especially. So we're going to do not only board games today, we're going to be doing video games as well. So Judge is going to handle the video game side of it, and I'll be handling the board game side of it. But before we get into it, we're going to talk about what we've been doing lately. What about you, Judge? Since the last time we've gotten together for the people, let's give some insights to what you've been up to.
So lately what I've been doing is I have been streaming on Twitch some music production stuff as well as some video games. So I've been playing the Division 2, and as times progressed, I've actually picked up Apex Legends, which is a battle royale game. Very cool game, very fun game. Didn't realize how fun it was. But yeah, in the last 2 weeks, my wife, she actually tested positive for COVID, and I was negative, but I was sick with the flu. So what happened was we had to quarantine from each other because I have asthma and it could definitely be very vital to me. So we were literally separate, and our kids were at my in-laws' house. So, we really were alone and isolated. So I had nothing much to do other than to make music, do some work, and also play a few video games with a few friends of mine, which kind of kept me sane. But towards the end, man, it was getting kind of crazy, but I'm glad we're back to normal. So
good. Well, I'm glad everything's going well. I'm glad everything's going good. The home is back to well, but most importantly, that everybody is, safe. No one got severely sick. That your wife has recovered well, which is awesome. On my end, I know my wife's been grinding it out. She's in her last year of her master's program. So she's been grinding out. I think she's got a final this upcoming week. So she's been pretty much, I guess I wouldn't say that we're quarantined from each other, but pretty much she's been like, as soon as she works from home, but as soon as she's done work, it's like from work right into the book. So she pretty much is in front of the computer all day, especially because they're not doing like on-campus classes. Everything is remote. So I believe right now she's probably, on a group study chat right now with like 4 or 5 people in her class getting ready for that. But on my end, I've took that time to, play some games, some review copies that we've had. I've gotten a chance to, when my wife wants to take a break, we've played a little bit of My Little Scythe. I know you and I have played that one. She did enjoy that one. I know we still have to review. We have a review copy of the big brother, the big daddy of that, which is the original Scythe, which is an award-winning, very well-renowned game, as well as Tapestry from Stonemaier Games, all these 3 titles from Stonemaier that we have to do. But I got a chance to try some of the games from Forbidden Games that we were sent as review copies. The first one was Raccoon Tycoon, which is an amazing game. I highly recommend that. I'm not even going to dive into that any further. For some reasons, we'll see shortly. And then the most recent one I played was Railroad Rivals from them. It's a little stock market a stock market game where you're pretty much trying to be a tycoon of a railroad company. So you're trying to pretty much buy shares into railroad companies and try and raise the price of the shares so that you can get the most points. Very fun game. It plays fairly quick. And it's something I played. It was my first time playing like that type of stock game. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I played it with two newer gamers, my brother-in-law and his girlfriend. They seemed to enjoy it when they were done. They said, I said, give me your honest opinion. They said they really liked it. So that's pretty much it. I got some new deliveries of stuff in. The expansion to Tapestry. I got that. I got the new 2-player version in the same place as Flotilla. It's from WizKids. It's called Sea Steed. So I know we were big fans of Flotilla. We tried that out at PAX Unplugged. I got yesterday was the newest expansion for Wingspan from Stonemaier Games, the Oceania expansion. And then I had a big, huge Kickstarter that I've been waiting for, probably my biggest Kickstarter of the year, which was Dwellings of Eldervale. That one I've heard a lot of buzz about, that it's going to pretty much be, a lot of people have it on their radar as game of the year for 2020. So I'm excited to, bust it open. Nice. And then I'm still waiting, I think, on one more that's probably going to drop. Two the second that might potentially come this year. The first one is Honey Buzz from Elf Creek Games. That game is ridiculously beautiful. I saw that one at PAX Unplugged. And then the last one, we'll see if it drops. I know you're going to be a fan of this one, is the Dice Throne Adventures game.
Absolutely.
So I believe there is potential that it'll come before the end of the year. If not, it's going to be probably the middle of January, if anything. It's right now, I think, on a boat waiting to cut here. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So like we said earlier, this is our top list of, not necessarily in any specific order. I know my list isn't in any specific order, but games that we would recommend to you guys, the listeners, that you can pick up. So we're going to start with Judge on the video game side of things and see what he has recommending for you guys. And we're not doing a top 10. We're not doing a top 5. We're going to do a top 7 each. We're a little bit different in how we do things. We're a little oddballs in our own little right, and we joke about that a lot amongst ourselves. But we're going to do a top 7. So we're going to give you 14 good picks, and we might even throw in some little check these out instead of make our list kind of thing at the end. So Judge, without further ado, let's jump into it.
All right, so first game that I have is my favorite game of all time, point blank period. None have topped any of the chart, any way, shape, or form. And this is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, this game is exclusively for PlayStation 4. So it is one that you only get on PlayStation. I apologize for the Xbox and PC guys. But this game is amazing. It was released this year on April 10th. Base game is $60. If you want any expansions or any extra characters or any extra outfits and suits, the price goes up. So amazing game from the very first Final Fantasy VII, made back in almost like 1990 something. I can't remember at the top of my head, but plays the same way. They added a new element in their storyline. So it's really, really amazing. They have an end game factor as well. A whole bunch of challenges at the end. I am at close to the end. I haven't been able to beat the whole thing yet because it has just been a time consuming thing. But outside of that, it is an amazing game. I love it to death. And I mean, that's my first recommendation, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
So that's a pretty pretty good one. I know you're huge on Final Fantasy. So I know myself, if I had to get into a game, I definitely would check that out back as RPG. I remember playing the old school Final Fantasy VII. So I'm definitely excited to see what that one is about. But for me, let's start off with my list. Now, my list isn't specifically all these, like some new games. Some games have been, are older. Some games released not even this year, probably the previous year, even before then. But these are games that I would definitely say, hey, check out. A lot of our listeners are new when it comes to board games in general. So I would recommend them to check these out. The first one on my list is a flip and write game. I think this is a good entry level to board games. Is those flip and write type games, because they work quick. You play them within 30 minutes and you can get a large group of people playing them. And that one would be Silver and Gold, which is a little flip and write game. Pretty much has a bunch of cards. There's some dry erase markers that you're using. And how that works is you're drafting these cards out of the center of the table. They're scoring cards in essence. And once you draft them out, they're part of what they call the treasure deck. And then there's another deck that's called Exploration deck. And when you flip over these exploration cards, there's different polyomino shapes. Think of like Tetris type shapes on there. And what you're doing with those Tetris shapes is you're drawing them into your scorecards and filling little boxes on the scorecards. And once you complete a scorecard, you are going to get those points at the end of the game. But on your little scorecards, there's like coins that you can cover. There's palm trees that you can cover that give you special abilities to either gain extra points or be able to, I believe it's when you cover the palm tree, you can cover another spot on another card. Works very, very fast. I really enjoy it. Plays well at 2 players, but it actually goes up to 4 players, which is a fun game to check out. So my first one, Silver and Gold. What about your number 2, brother?
All right, so my number 2 I have on here is Marvel Avengers. It came out at a perfect time. It has all the characters from Marvel other than like the ones who are less famous. So like Vision, I know they're adding Black Panther later down the line, and they're adding characters and they're adding new features in the game. I have it and played it. It was released in September 4th. So, and base game $60. Again, it's compatible for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And wonderful game. It is solo or group play. You can play with your friends, up to 4 people, and you can defeat different opponents. You can follow different storylines that go individually to each superhero. So, like, there's a storyline for Thor on the side. There's different missions that you can do for Thor. It is like a looter shooter type game, less on the shooting part because it is a like Iron Man shoots, but Thor is physical, so he's hitting and all that good stuff. But they do drop loot, they drop gear and equipment, they have exotics, they have legendary equipment that you would want to set up a different type of build with, depending on that type of character. So like an example would be Thor. Thor is a ranged character because he can throw his hammer around, but he also has good melee attacks, so depending on how you build, you can build up his melee attacks to make him a real one-hitter quitter, or you can make his hammer really powerful and use that to throw around and kind of contain, do a little more air control. Same thing with Iron Man, Hulk, who else is in the game? Black Widow, Captain America, and also Miss Marvel, who is the one who stretches. She is Kamala Khan, and she is the main character in the base story mode. And the story mode is amazing. I actually played through the whole thing. It is lovely. I love the ending. I love the concept. They really did a really good job making this not match with the multiverse of the movies, but still complemented enough to make it its own thing. So it was really amazing. That is Marvel Avengers. Again, $60 for the base. If you want a little bit more, you can go check it out and see what their gold edition and the ultimate edition covers.
Nice. That definitely sounds like my cup of tea. I like myself some superheroes, especially after being a big Dice Masters player. But absolutely. Going into my number 2, actually for my number 1, I didn't drop the price on Silver and Gold. Silver and Gold you can find at Target, Walmart. It's around $15 is the lowest I've seen it. It goes up to about $20 retail, but you can definitely find it for about $15. My number 2 is one game that I would say has probably have to be a staple in everyone's collection. This is a game that you could probably get grandmom and grandpop to play, and that is Azul from Plan B Games. Azul is a very nice, beautiful game on the table. The idea is what we call abstract, where it's not like a traditional board game, but how it works is you, in essence, are a wall tiler. Like you're designed to tile a wall, and you want to make a beautiful mosaic tiled wall. And you're using these tiles that you're trying to draft from the center of the table. There's a specific way on how these draft. And if you draft the tile, you're trying to draft specific types of tiles to place on your scoring board. And when you place them, you have to place them in a specific type of way. You can't have the same tile in same horizontal line or vertical line. So it's almost like, it kind of gives me the feel of like a Sudoku. So those people who are big Sudoku players, filling the numbers in the boxes, and you can't have set numbers of the numbers that repeat. This will give you that feel, but it has a very beautiful thing. You won't feel like you're playing Sudoku, but those who are Sudoku players will have that idea. So that's why I say it's good for like grandmom and grandpop who, are sitting there in the Sunday paper, filling out those Sudoku puzzles. I know a lot of people that have enjoyed this. This is a new to me game. So like I said, this game came out a few years back, and I've recently heard it on the Gaming with Sidekicks podcast. They did a whole episode on all the 3 different Azules that are out. This is definitely one to check out. That is Azul from Plan B Games. You could probably catch this as low as $30, but I think it retails for $40.
Nice. All right, so my number 3 is NBA 2K21. This is the new basketball game for this year, 2K21. It's exceeding expectations in every which way, shape, and form, because of how they have player cards and how you can build your player to be a forward, a power forward, or shooter, point guard, shooting guard, however you want to set that person up. So I don't play sports games as much, but my team, my video game team, my GMB team, Grown Man Business team, they are avid Madden and basketball players. So every time we're in a group chat, they're always talking about like, hey, you need to call me when you start building your players because we got to make sure they complement each other. So I'm listening to their conversation and understanding how it's the same thing where it's like you get enough materials to set up your player. You know, the more you shoot, the better your chances are getting that card that makes you a shotgun shooter or whatever. So like they have like little nicknames, and you know, everybody's shooting for the Mamba card. Rest in peace to Kobe. You know, so they have homage to everyone back in the day up until now, all the legends, all the ones who left the NBA legacy up until now. It looks like a great game. I might even pick it up just because the rest of my team is, and gotcha. I might just try to, you know, figure out what's going on in it just to kind of get that going.
Now, when you mentioned real quick, yes, if you mentioned something about your team saying that, you know, getting players that complement each other, is this something where you could possibly play when you're playing online? You can have almost like a team of all 5. One's the point guard through the sensor, and everybody has their specific position player that they brought in to play against another 5.
So, and I believe it's teams of 3.
Okay.
I think that's the max they go up to. But, gotcha. You know, when you're playing story mode, your character starts in high school, graduating from high school, and you have the option of going to college or I believe it's the D League. And okay. Within that, you know, you progress on because you're trying to get in the NBA. That's the story mode. And it's really cool, you know, and there's a whole bunch of different ways you can get there. And there's a whole bunch of different paths you can take. And then that's the story mode. Now, once you get into the group mode and you want to play online with different people and friends, you have your character set up for that particular thing. So like I said, you can have loadouts in different ways. So you can have a shooter loadout, a forward loadout, you know, and a point guard loadout where it's like, okay, well, we're playing with this crew, such and such. All right, well, I'm gonna pull out my point guard loadout so that I can make sure I can get some steals and some interceptions and stuff like that. So it's like I said, it really gets in deep, you know, as you go. But if you want, that story mode is also cool because you really get to see how these basketball players even made it, because they do a lot of it is based off of real life of what happens with these basketball players when they come from high school, from college, and go to the NBA. So you really get to sit in the shoes of those NBA players, and it's a really dope game. It's $60, and it is for PS4 and PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC.
Nice. My number 3 is going to be a nice card game. I always say people got to have card games. Everybody plays cards, whether it be absolutely, you know, spades, bridge, poker, whatever the case may be. And this one is a nice little card game from Grandpa Beck's Games. It is my all-time right now favorite trick-taking game, and that is Skull King. You know, I introduced it to you, Judge, big spades player. I say and this
is definitely fun.
Yeah, I say if you're a fan of spades, you got to check this out. This isn't a game that you play in teams; you play solo. It's really cool. When I say trick-taking is where, those that are not familiar, there's a couple different suits in the game. In this game, it's colors, and whoever is the lead person, they lead with a specific suit. Everybody has to follow that same suit. If you don't have a card of that suit, you can throw out a trump suit, and that is, when you throw out a trump suit, that suit will automatically win that hand. There's some special cards in this game. That's pirates. There's obviously a Skull King, and there's what they call escape cards. So the Skull King beats everything. Pirates can beat any number. And then you have an escape card. It's pretty much like a I don't want to win this hand. So I was like, I'm just going to give it to someone else. But what's cool about this game is that it's played over 10 rounds, and each round players are dealt the amount of cards that the round is. So in round 1, you're dealt 1 card. Round 10, you're dealt 10 cards, and you bid on how many of the hands you think you're going to win that round. So round 5, I say I'm going to win 3 hands. And someone else says, oh, I want to win 3 tricks. One of us is going to be wrong because there's only going to be 5 tricks taken. If you get your exact bid correct, you get 20 points for each trick you take. If you are off any number, you get minus 10 points for each number that you're off. You can even bid 0. And if you bid 0, you're going to get 10 points times whatever round it is. So potentially in round 10, you bid 0, you're going to get 100 points. So the game works very well, works very fast. And the scores can really take a turn very fast, which is really fun game. So check that one out. That's Skull King. That's about $15. You can find it on Amazon. And what about you? We're on to number 4, Judge.
Okay. My number 4 is a video game called Watch Dogs Legion. This comes from a long line of Watch Dogs. I believe this is the 3rd game from Ubisoft. This is an RPG, open world RPG, very big. It's based in London, so it has a nice scenery. And it's about hackers who are trying to fix whoever's trying to, destroy London electronically and put them back in the Stone Age. So, this company, the hackers group, who was called DedSec, was set up and, by this other person. And they're trying to find out who it is so that they can stop them from sending London back into the Stone Age. And that's without giving too much up. The game base price is $60. Amazing game. Watch the playthrough because I haven't been able to play it yet. And it looks amazing. It has a whole bunch of new features. One of the new features is where they call it Legion because you can literally recruit any person that you see in the world. So you can see somebody, you can pull somebody out of a car and recruit them into your clan, your DedSec crew. You can take someone from the opposing team if you feel like you can take advantage of that situation and use them for your team. Everyone is up for grabs. They do have a harder feature where if you do die, is something that they call permadeath, meaning if that person dies, they die. That's it. And that's on the harder mode. The easier mode is like to become injured, arrested, or kidnapped, and they just time out to where you can't select them for a certain amount of time. Nice. The game looks amazing. It plays very well, looks very smooth, not a lot of issues. Even the fast travel in between cities is amazing. In between little areas is amazing from what I've seen, and it looks like a whole bunch of fun. But again, that's Watch Dogs Legion. It's available for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Series S, and the PC. So just so everyone's clear, the PS5 just came out and just released, and the Xbox Series X and Series S just came out. So when I'm saying that these games dropped around the same time, so they do have different versions. If you buy the version for the PlayStation 4 and play it on the PlayStation 5, it will look different versus buying the PlayStation 5 version. Just so you understand. It goes the same way with the Xbox series as well, just because it's the graphics and it's how they already formatted the game on that particular disc, or if you get it digitally. So I just wanted to clear that up so that people understand, like, hey, just make sure if you do have the newer system and you haven't bought the game yet, buy it on the newer system so that you have that maximum amount of play time, game time, and you getting the full effect of everything that you have going on.
Nice. I think my brother actually mentioned that one. My brother's a big video gamer. I think that's one that he mentioned that he's looking at once he decides to get his PS5. I think he might be waiting, but that's that one looked interesting. So yeah. On to my number 4. I think everybody should have a party game in their collection. And if I was to pick just one party game to have in your collection, that one's actually going to be called Just One, which happens to be the 2019 Spiel des Jahres winner. I believe it was 2019, and this one was really good. It's it's a word game. You know, many people are familiar with like categories. You know, if you're familiar with that, Scrabble, anything like that. But how this game works is you're playing cooperatively, and you start off with a deck of cards. You shuffle it up, and on the cards, there's each card has 5 words. And when I pick a card, when it's my turn, I show the card to everybody on my team. I don't see the card. I select the number 1 through 5, and let's say I select number 3 that's associated to a word, and everybody looks at that word, and they're going to give me a 1-word clue. There are some stipulations to how the clues can be given. You can't just write words that rhyme or anything like that. And you can't have, suffixes or prefixes of the word, things like that, or play on that word. But everybody writes a clue down on their little dry erase board. I'm not looking. They all reveal their dry erase answers to each other. And if any of their dry erase answers match, they have to erase them. I can only see unique responses. So once everybody has all their answers ready, making sure that whatever is left is only unique responses, they show them to me, and I have one guess to figure out, can I guess that word? If we do, we collect that card. That goes into our win pile. If we don't, it goes into our lose pile. After the end of 14 rounds, you see who won that card, and how many cards you won, and there's like a little scale on the back to see how well you did, and you're just trying to increase your score. It works very, very well. It went very well over on our last my Christmas party last year. I actually got it for a white elephant gift, and that was one of the things that everybody's like, hey, why don't we just crack open that game and play? We had a blast. About $24 on Amazon and all your local stores, but as of right now, it is on sale at Walmart for like $15 or even under $15. So that is just one. That would be my number 4.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to number 5. I wanted to backtrack really fast because I forgot to tell everyone. NBA 2K21 was released September 4th, and Watch Dogs Legion was released on October 29th, just so if anyone wanted to know and trying to be consistent with that. But my number 5 is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This game looks amazing. First of all, they have like 20 Assassin's Creed games, and throughout all of them, every time I see or play one, it exceeds the last one, and they keep doing it. I mean, the last one was Assassin's Creed Origins, and the Origins looked amazing, and it played well too. And even before that, Assassin's Creed Unity was a really, really good game too. So this has the same concept. The only difference is now we're back in the Viking era, back in Valhalla. So they go to a lot through the theology of the Viking area, in the Viking era, excuse me. So very, very good game, single player game. I'm not too sure if they're doing a multiplayer, but I know Assassin's Creed, when it comes to that, their single player gameplay is just amazing and immensely wonderful. So, if you want, check it out. It was released. Well, it was released a few days ago, actually. So November 10th is when it was released, and you can get the base game for $60. Also, if you're not really sure if you like a game, or before you buy a game, I would suggest you guys check out, go on YouTube and check out some of these content creators' gameplays. So I know some in particular that I watch, they get the game earlier before it drops. So in case you want to see what it looks like and see if it's something you're going to like, you can do that. And that's actually a good idea. I know Jazz, we also do the same thing with board games. We want to see how it plays. We want to see some gameplay that goes with it, just so we know what we're purchasing, because we want to be smart consumers, and don't want our wives killing us, or because of all the money that we spend and try to make a good reason to make it work. But take time and do that. I do suggest people do that, you guys, just so you know what you're getting, right? You always want to double check, because you can't test the game and just take it back. You can't be like, oh, well, I don't like it. You're not getting your full money back. You're definitely getting, less than what you spent. So, take some time and check it out. And all you have to do when you go to YouTube is type in whatever the name of the game is and then play through. Guarantee you'll find at least 20, 30 different content creators that have them and that plays them.
Nice. I like that. I like that suggestion as well. What I like to do is go on to my number. Where are we on? Number 5, right?
Yeah, number 5.
Number 5. I like a huge deck builder game, not a huge, meaning large, but I like to have a good deck builder game that gives you this huge sprawling, feel that you're playing something big. And you can get that with a lot of like games like Star Realms, things like that. Very quick, fast deck builders that give you this, huge feeling of, oh man, I played this epic game when I was done. But this one is a deck builder that has a board to it that implements a board. So it'll give you a deck building element, but it also gives you a dungeon diving element. So for those who are big on dungeon crawlers, or even video games that have this, like, I'm going into a dungeon and I'm going to fight monsters and stuff like that. If you like that and you really haven't tried board games, check this one out. They have two different versions. I'm a big fan of the fantasy version, but there's also a space version. So the fantasy version is called Clank, a deck building adventure. The second one is called the space version is called Clank in Space. Surprisingly. Only different about Clank in Space, it has a modular board, so it can be rearranged different times. And how the game works is with a deck builder. Everybody starts out with a generic same deck of cards, and you are using your cards to purchase more powerful cards into your deck, and then you're cycling through them to get those more powerful cards. There's ways to get rid of your starting hand and try and almost trash them out of the game. But in this game, you're trying to acquire purchasing power to purchase more cards. You're trying to acquire movement points to move throughout the dungeon. And you're also trying to get hit points to attack the monsters that you're going to get into the dungeon. You want to get into the dungeon fast, collect as much loot that you can, and escape the dungeon before the dragon attacks. So very, very fun game, has a cool timing mechanism, and it's a good competing game against your opponents. There's a bunch of expansions out there. Start with the base game. If you love it like I do what I did, buy everything. But that is Clank. It is on the more pricier side. It is the most expensive game on my list at $60. But I believe you can find this on different board game websites, things like that. You can even find a used copy. I know I purchased a used copy. When it comes to board games, don't be ashamed to buy a used copy, because you can find really good copies. Get them for like 13, 14, sometimes as low as $20 cheaper. So that is Clank. Starts at plays as low as 2 players up to 4 players, but if you use the app, you can even play it solo. So that's my number 5.
All right, so and I forgot to say for Valhalla, I apologize. It is available for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Series S, and the PC as well. And so my number 6, this is right? Number
yes,
6?
Sir.
All right. So we are on Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Let me tell you something. So this game looks so good, so clean. Unfortunately, it is only exclusive to PlayStation again. PlayStation definitely does not play when it comes to Spider-Man. Every time they drop a new system, they drop the new Spider-Man game on it, and they do this consistently. And they never fail. Like it's a really awesome game. Looks very smooth. If you watched Spider-Man Miles Morales, the animated movie, which is one of my favorite movies of all time at this point, it runs into that same type story mode. Peter Parker, Miles Morales, they team up together, they fight some people. Peter Parker's taking a break, and then it's Miles Morales' turn to kind of shine. So you'll play as Miles throughout the whole game. Another RPG, open world, different areas in New York City. Madison Square Garden and a few other places like that, Manhattan. And he has more abilities than the regular Spider-Man, so there will be different mechanics and different things to play with throughout the game, and he'll have different abilities and skills. But I'm telling you, the game looks good. Collect all the skins, collect all the different Spider-Man costumes, because they all look amazing. And the base game comes $60. I believe if it's on the newer systems, against systems that just released, PS5 and Xbox Series, no, PS5, because it's only PS game, it is, I believe, $70. I believe the price is going up for games in the newer gen, unfortunately. But if you buy it for PS4, it is $60. So go check it out. This is another game that has a and extra expansions and extra missions. So if you want to buy the ones that have a little bit more to it, a little bit more skins, extra missions, and things as such as that, feel free to look that up and invest into it. But base game $60, and it just released November 12th.
Nice. Yeah, I love the movie, so that's definitely one I'm sure looks beautiful as much as good as the movie
Oh
looked.
my
I'm pretty
gosh,
sure with
it does.
these
It
new
looks really
graphics look
good.
nice.
Yeah.
So on to my number 6. This one is a push your luck type game. When I mean push your luck, it means like every round you're trying to see if you can get more points, and this potentially you can in essence bust and kind of like not get what you were trying to get. This game is called The Quacks of Quedlinburg. So each person is in essence the game I guess is almost like a witch, or you're pretty much like if you don't if you don't like the idea of being a witch, you are a person trying to brew a potion. Okay, let's look at it that way. All right. And as you're brewing your potion, you start off with a starting ingredient in your bag. And there are some ingredients that could potentially explode your bag if you pull out a certain value of them. I believe it's 7. So you're pulling out your ingredients. And once you want to stop, you can stop and you look on the track and see how far you've gone, and you would accumulate those points as well as purchasing power. That will allow you to buy more ingredients to add into your bag for the next round. If you want to keep pushing your luck, there's a potential that your pot can explode. And what that leaves you with is either choosing points or purchasing power. So there is a nice push your luck element that could really pay off. And I know this game has worked off really well, that I like it. One specific reason is because there is a very good catch-up mechanic. So there's not a runaway leader where the person who's in the lead is always just going to naturally win. Because if you're behind, there's almost like the next round, you could potentially kind of like get a head start on that scoring track for the next round. So some really cool combos with the different ingredients you can add that will give you more powers, or let your next ingredient go further along on the track in XYZ. But this is a really good game. Plays anywhere from 2 to 4 players. It's going to be on the pricier side. And when I say pricier side, this is for the standard consumer, because I've played well more than $50 for a game. But this one is $50. Again, at the end of this, I'm going to tell you some other places you can probably look to find games much cheaper. But that is The Quacks of Quedlinburg, my number 6. So, Judge, on to your last one, number 7.
Last but not least, we have this game is just dropped 3 days ago as well. So this is November 13th. This is Call of Duty Cold War. Call of Duty is just a great franchise. I mean, all of the Call of Duties have been amazing. They had some misses, but I mean, they know how to make up for it in the end. So Cold War definitely takes you back to the Cold War days. The game looks amazing. The plot in the game looks amazing too. So the story mode is single player, and then you can go into multiplayer mode. They have the zombies as well, which is very, very famous amongst the Call of Duty side of things. They have what is that called? The Warzone, which is, everybody drops in and they all fight together to see who wins. And they also do the multiplayer where, you have a team of like 20 versus a team of 20, and you can come in with your team of 4, a maximum of 4 that and you all guys all work together to take over realms and rounds and different places like that. This is available for all systems, all the general systems as well as the newer systems. So I won't go into too much detail, but this does base price is $60. And what I did see is that PlayStation 5 and Xbox, to correct myself earlier, they are varying their prices for games. So some are $50-$60, but some do go up to $70 base price. So just double check and see which way you want to go and how that works for each system, because each game is different when it comes to the new gen. So you just want to double check that too. But as of right now, for the regular systems, we're going with the regular $60 prices for this game as well. All systems, including PC. So if you have a PC, you want to check it out, absolutely do. Looks like a beautiful game. This is one that I definitely will be playing with my brother and a few other family members that we play Call of Duty with. So definitely check it out.
Nice. I know. I have a cousin who streams, and he is actually it's my wife's cousin who streams as well. He's a huge Call of Duty fan. I think he just recently got the game today, so he was on online streaming earlier today. And I know a lot of people are huge Call of Duty fans. So if you're big into that franchise, yeah, definitely check that out. I remember I used to play Call of Duty a lot back when it was the first. Not the very, very first one, but Modern Warfare, the one that really jumped the franchise super high. My number my number 7, the very final one on my list, is a game that I recently reviewed. It's on our website to check out. You can find it on our Twitter at Lobby of Hobbies. You can find it as well on our Facebook, the Lobby of Hobbies podcast. And that game is Raccoon Tycoon. I'm not going to get too detailed because if you want to check this one out, definitely read my review on it. This one plays 2 to 5 players. There is an expansion that can take it up to 6 players. Base price is about $40. The expansion, I think, is another $20 or $30 to pick up. But you can buy the full deluxe edition that gives you the expansion right jumped in there with some deluxe components and everything. Beautiful game. Pretty much the idea of the game is you are a tycoon trying to kind of use your business savvy to build some buildings, purchase some buildings, build some towns, and also win railroads in auctions. All while doing this, you have to earn money, and to earn money, you are trying to earn different types of commodities, and depending on how the commodities that you gain, you can sell them at different prices. And each player, as they're gaining commodities, they're also raising the price of other commodities. So there's a fluctuating market in the game. While this to some gamers might sound completely oblivious, you don't know what I'm talking about, especially if you're newer or casual to the game, I can guarantee you this game is super easy to pick up. You will know it in the first turn, and you will see as the game progresses, the strategy itself starts to deepen. And not, making it hard, but just deepen and give you a really rich experience. This one is on my must-have list for any collector or any board game owner. It's that good. It is definitely what I would say a gateway game, and this has definitely probably replaced many other gateway games in my collection. I will be introducing this to a lot of people, and that is Raccoon Tycoon. Check out my review for further review on that. So, what about Judge? Anything that didn't make your list? Because one thing I noticed is you didn't mention no Nintendo Switch stuff, and I know that I know the Nintendo people are gonna be hot.
Upset, yeah, and I know, and maybe it's my bias, and I apologize for that. So I'll definitely probably throw a few games up in a blog for the Nintendo Switch people, because they do have a few games, and I was even talking to my daughter about that today. Like, hey, we have to get you this for later down the line. But I'll definitely look into that and do some more research for you guys. Thanks for putting me on blast, Jazz. I appreciate it.
Well, I'll be honest. I've looked at a Nintendo Switch to kind of pick up because it's something, just to kind of a handheld that I can take outside the house and play it. Right. I was always growing up a huge fan of like the Mario series and whatnot. So, but then again, like I said, I've been out of the video game for a while. So, but it's definitely one of those things like, when my daughter gets older, the first kind of system I'm going to be looking into is a Nintendo system, whether it's whatever the new Switch is. But I know there's a couple games that didn't make my list. Again, the games on my list, none of them are brand new. All of them are within, I think 2018 is the most recent game here. Probably 2019 with Silver and Gold, I think is a 2019 game. But 2 games that are this year releases that I know one of them I have recently got, and that's called Pan Am, which is getting a lot of buzz. I have not played my copy yet. A lot of people say that this is up for their game of the year. And the one that I'm hoping to get in soon is called Whistle Mountain. It is a worker placement game. Me and my worker placement games. Now, this isn't the one that I would recommend for a new gamer because, of course, it is more on the deeper strategy side. But if you are into deep strategy, if you are a board gamer listening and you have not heard about Whistle Mountain, check it out. Designed by Scott Caputo and Luke Laurie. Luke Laurie, man, this guy is designing some crazy good games. Dwellings of Eldervale, which is up for Game of the Year as well this year. Manhattan Project Energy Empire, which is another ridiculously good worker placement game that's on my shelf, still unplayed. But now it's funny because you say, I always say there's these really, really good games. Again, I think Judge mentioned it earlier. I don't purchase a game in my collection until I have seen it either played, demoed it somewhere, or thoroughly watched playthroughs of it. It's like, oh man, I have to have that because I know I'll enjoy it. So I feel like when I'm watching those players, those playthroughs, I'm thinking about what strategy I'm going to do if I was in that situation.
Right.
Which is good. I think so for people who are board gamers, or considering getting into the hobby, what I would recommend is like what Judge was saying on the video games aspect, watch some playthroughs. That's how I got into this hobby. I will say, hey, let me check out some board games, came across some YouTube videos, and what do you know? I'm 160 something games in. I think throughout my collection, I honestly think throughout my collection, I've owned over 300 different titles that I've traded away and sold, and to purchase other games or whatnot. But so there's a lot of good games out there. You can't go wrong. If there's primarily the idea with us here at the Lobby of Hobbies is enter, share, and discover, right? We want you to enter with us while we share some of our hobbies, some of our things with you, like these top 7 games that we want you to check out for the holidays. But ultimately, we want you to discover something new, the same way we've discovered things. All right. So, whatever it is, whatever can, pique your interest or get other people to a table or on the other side of the controller with you, or the other side of the headset, or right next to you on the couch playing a game. We want people to, get together and have a good time together, because that's what it's all about. In the end,
right.
We talked about it in our last episode, making sure that we're staying in a good mental state, right? And
right.
It's tough to be in a good mental state when you stay secluded to yourself, right? You want to have that outlet. You want to have a network of people that you can grind with, whether it be on a video game or enjoy it at a table. So sometimes I like something that might be a little bit deeper strategy, or while Judge might, when it comes to video games, like something that's like really hardcore, really, interaction in your face type stuff. While some people just want something casual, something that's going to kind of relax them and just kind of keep them chill. And there is that out there, which is what's cool about both of these hobbies when it comes to video games and board games. It doesn't have to be high stressful, high tense, like, oh, what's going to do next? Or I'm going to lose this. It can be very chill, very relaxed. And that's why I have games like Azul on my list, where it's very chill. And if you just want to laugh, check out Just One. So that's just what it's about. But without further ado, I think we've taken a good amount of time. Sometimes we get a little bit long-winded. I know myself included.
Absolutely right. Yeah,
but
because you definitely cut me off. I didn't even get to say my games.
That's right. So, Jeff, let's go. Drop those really quick.
I'm gonna drop them real fast. So, one game that we missed because it hasn't dropped yet. Cyberpunk 2077. That's on all new systems and older systems. This drops December 10th, $60 for the base price. You move it up a little bit more if you want more of the collective edition. Really dope game. Same realm as Watch Dogs Legion, but way more futuristic. So many you are or an android or some type of robot. Amazing game. The way you can set up your skills and your guns and your weapons and everything like that. One player game, our open world RPG. The next one, an oldie but goodie, but it did release this year. Tony Hawk Pro Skater remastered 1 and 2 dropped on PS4, Xbox One, and the PC, and that dropped September 4th as well, $60. If I love the first games when it was on PlayStation 1, oh my gosh, I love them, the music, everything. It just took me back. It gives me a nostalgia. So I actually play that game on my free time when I'm just trying to chill or just trying to not think too much, because I just love going back to that realm. Last but not least, this one is actually free to play, and it's called Rogue Company. Rogue Company is a battle royale again, and it's more of a as you go through the rounds, you collect money to upgrade your weapons and everything like that. As time goes on, you want whoever's on your team wins. This is a multiplayer game. You can play it by yourself with randoms, or you can play it in a group of people, max of 4, I believe, or 5. So this is actually available PS4, Xbox One, PlayStation, and you guessed it, the Nintendo Switch. Nice. So there's my safe haven.
There you go, Nintendo people. Yep. He brought you back in.
Brought him right back in. Saved myself.
No, that's good. That's a good.
Yeah,
So Judge, thank you for joining me again. It's always a pleasure to get together
always
with
a
you,
pleasure, bro.
to talk about the things that we love. Sometimes it might just only be us talking and hearing ourselves, but we love it. um,
Either way,
yeah.
we can do it all day.
But for those that are listening that have joined us, first of all, we want to thank you. We appreciate that you took the time to listen to us, and what we had to say and share with you. We hope that, today you found something that you can kind of check out for yourselves or for somebody else this holiday season. But most importantly, even if you don't check out any of these games, we just want you to enjoy your time with your family this holiday season, those people around you that you love. If you don't have someone, to spend that time with, find someone, spend this time with someone. All right. Hop online, whether it's a video games. Trust me, there's a network of people out there. And if you need to, hey, hop on Lobby of Hobbies podcast, Facebook. All right. There's a community of people there that are willing to always be welcoming to accept you in and introduce you and walk you through these hobbies that we enjoy so much. Just because we talk about board games and we talk about video games doesn't necessarily mean that there are not people that are into the hobbies that are in this group that maybe you're into, whether it's, winter sports, skiing, snowing. No, there's people that enjoy hobbies, and that's what the idea of Lobby Hobbies is. So again,
Absolutely.
we want to thank you for joining us, for being with us. You can catch us on Facebook. Just search the Lobby of Hobbies. You'll find our Facebook podcast page. We'll give you updates on all the things related to our podcast, related to our reviews that we drop. You'll also get in touch with our gaming community as well, our gaming group that you can just go on there and be a member there. You'll find us on Instagram and Twitter at Lobby of Hobbies, and you can catch us on any of your podcast catcher software. Just search the Lobby of Hobbies podcast. Judge, one final word before we head out.
For people who are looking to enter, share, and discover with us, who may not have a place or an outlet, feel free to join our Discord too. We have that available. The link is a little bit different. I'm not too sure how it works, but I know we definitely share it on all platforms. So be sure to check it out on Facebook. There should be a way to enter right into our Discord channel. Come in, introduce yourself, share what you like, and guarantee you'll find somebody that likes the same thing you do, and we'll all be here to welcome you in.
Awesome. Yes, that Discord, you just hop onto our Facebook group. Most of the people in the Facebook group are also on the Discord. And if you just want to get into the Facebook really quick or whatever the case may be, or if you're not in Facebook, hey, drop us an email. It is thelobbyofhobbies@gmail.com. All right. So just check us out. And if you want to just hop in the Discord, if Facebook is not your thing, you can do that as well. Judge, thanks for dropping that. Again, thank you guys. We're glad that you joined us, and we will see you on the next episode.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Have a good one.